All right, we're live. Welcome to the brand new podcast. We're here with DJ Tialavea out here in beautiful Cache County, Logan. It's been a great day. We've seen some spring football this morning. And yeah, thank you for being here and having time to be available for us.
Of course.
Yeah. Spring ball was good, man.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes, but it was still fun over there competing.
Yeah. And that's what you're going to get at the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, and we've only had a couple practices, so it's good to get out there and show some of your talent, see the talent from some of the boys, which was good to see.
Yeah.
So once we put a whole spring together, a whole fall camp, should be a good season. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I saw a lot of good players out there. So your running backs, I love your running backs. Real patient. Patient back there. That's very awesome to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a good group to see who kind of separates themselves or if they're going to, run in a pack. So I think it's going to take, 3 or 4 of those guys together. So it'll be fun to see, especially some of those Polynesian running backs we got. Those are my sleepers.
Yeah. Was this the first day of this kind of practice? Or
Yeah, so today was just straight, scrimmage. We've had regular practicing, competing 11 against 11. But today, just to put the ball down and just play like real football with refs there calling, penalties, even though they were calling some.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
Nah, it was still fun. So.
And you're the tight ends coach, which you were just promoted to this year, right?
Correct, yeah. This new coaching staff, they hired me as the tight ends coach. So first year as a full-time staff, so it's good. Got a great group.
Yeah.
I love my boys in my room. Got a great group.
Yeah. I was kind of breaking it down to my brother that the O-line itself has got to have different coaches for different positions as the tight ends, the tackles, and then the guards and center. And it was just awesome to see an actual, it's college, it's D1. Of course, you're going to have that type of staff, to kind of just go in their own positions, teaching and bring it all together. Because, high school, you barely get any coaches or staff that want to come on and volunteer just because of the time. And, it's really volunteering your time. But I've known, I got to just knowing the position a little bit more, just coaching. It's like, man, it's hard to coach the guards and center, then you got to coach the tackles, and then you got to coach the tight ends. How's that for you? Like, just able to just coach? Because I remember when we first coached at West Jordan.
We were coaching everybody.
Yeah, and just taking on the whole line. How's that been for you, just to concentrate on just one position?
It's good, man. It's good. I coach, there's 5 guys in my room, but, obviously with the tight end, you're only coaching one guy who's on the field at a time, sometimes 2. Yeah. With the O-line, you always have 5 guys on the field. Yeah. And now, and in your room, you have 15, 16, maybe 17 guys. Mm-hmm. So, especially here at the D1 level, I mean, we have 4 coaches in the O-line room, and they do a great job, splitting it up and having one guy pay attention to the outside guys, the other guys pay attention to the inside 3. But for me, man, I love it. All I do is focus on tight ends, but I like learning from those other guys in the O-line room because we got some really good coaches there.
Nice. Where is it that you want to go after this? I mean, let's just jump right into it. Where is it that you want to just go after this? What is it that you're trying to pursue?
Man, my ultimate goal, so if in 20 years, when we're sitting down in 20 years, I want to be able to say that I am or I have been a head coach at the D1 level. So my ultimate goal would be to be a head coach, but there's obviously steps along the way. I would say to continue to stay on the offensive side of the ball, progress into an O-line coach, maybe hopefully an offensive coordinator someday. But definitely, man, that's my ultimate goal 20 years from now. Hopefully, we're all sitting down and I'm a head coach somewhere.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Just anywhere, or do you just prefer somewhere here in Utah, or
I just D1 really, D1. I want to be a head coach at the top level. It would be great to be in Utah. Yeah. I mean, obviously being here from Utah, going to school here in Utah, especially here at Utah State, that would be amazing. Dream come true dream come true right there.
That'd be your alumni.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I don't know how often that happens where you end up being the head coach where you played. I'm sure that if you looked at the data, it'd be super rare.
Yeah.
But that can always be my goal. So we'll see what happens, man. I know there's going to be a lot of transition in between there, and there's going to be a lot of learning that I have to do. So, but I'm bought in. I love this career. I love being in coaching and having an impact on some of these kids because, especially in today's world, those guys, they need that positive role model and that positive impact. So I hope I'm doing a decent job at it.
Yeah. No, it was fun, man. I met DJ actually. We started coaching at West Jordan High. It was the only season that you were there, and it was awesome because he was also able to coach with his former teammate at Utah State, AJ Patali, who's at Snow College right now, coaching the D-line. And so we all coached that 1 year, then we all split off. I went to a different high school, and these guys went to college level. And so it was a good turnout, as that first season was, or that year that we coached together at West Jordan was, it was ups and downs, but it was fun.
It was
fun
all
for
though.
The players. Yeah,
it was fun, man.
It was for the players. And so just going off of that, man, I mean, you already attacked what you want to do with your career. Let's take it back. If you can share with us your come up, who you are, and how'd you get into sports? Because I know that you played multiple sports, not only football but basketball and baseball. Mm-hmm. And so, you learn how to compete in different types of sports. I just want to go over that and just your come up and where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I grew up in West Jordan. And
That's Jordan.
Yeah, let's go.
That's Jordan.
You already know. So, when I was young, I never played football. Like my parents would never let me play football. They put me in every sport. They put me in every sport but football. I remember I was going to karate. I remember I was going soccer.
Hey, Daniel-san.
Then I was wrestling. And then they really just put me in everything, and then they kind of just saw what I liked.
Yeah. And
baseball was like my favorite thing ever. So I stuck with baseball, and then I also played basketball because most of my friends that lived in our same neighborhood or in our same area, they all had a team. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, my best friend, his dad was the coach, and he always would be like, hey, we need DJ to play. And so he'd always, like, talk my parents into letting me play basketball. So really growing up, I just played baseball and basketball. Yeah. And those are kind of things that you could do year round. Like, you could always play basketball.
Right.
And then in baseball, here in Utah, you would play all spring and all summer, fall. And even in the winter, there would be tournaments like, maybe St. George or Vegas or tournaments outside of Utah. So I was doing that, baseball and basketball, year round. Mm-hmm. Then it wasn't until when I went to high school, my sophomore year, my kids would just come up to me and like, oh, you're big, man. You need to play football. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but the coach, our head Coach Morgan, his son came up to me and was just like, my dad's the coach, and he basically is like, you're playing football. And I was like, who's this Palagi kid over here trying to tell me what to do? And then I don't remember. I guess I just went home and I asked my parents, and they were just like, yeah, I mean, you're old enough. I guess you're mature. You're grown. I was probably like at least 6'2". So they're like, yeah, you're big enough. And so I just went and I played. And it was bad, man. I was awful. I'm not going to lie. I never played football before, so I was over there running around. And I played defensive end. Yeah. They're just like, just chase the quarterback. Just go make a tackle. So I would.
What year was this that you started playing?
Sophomore year. Yeah, so I was a 10th grader. And I was, all I knew was just, go chase the guy with the ball. So I would chase him, but he'd be like almost tackled. So I would just like, kind of watch. And you already know, them old linemen coming. Bam! Yeah. And then I was just getting blasted, and my dad would just always say, keep your eyes open, keep your head on the swivel. He's like, go full out all the way to the whistle.
Got to, man.
Or the old lineman's going to come over there and clean you up. And so my sophomore year, it was bad. I didn't really like it. And I was going against Star.
Oh.
And I was going against Star, and this man...
Lots of your lay, right?
Yeah, I was going against Star, and this man literally, like, would pick me up. And my feet was, like, you know, dangling, and he would just toss me. And then I would go home and be like, why do I do this? I was like, I'm confused on why people play it. And we lost, like, almost every game that year. So I didn't have fun.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I started football, man, and it kind of just grew over me the next few years. So, continued to play baseball and basketball in high school, and then ended up just playing more football, enjoying it and getting used to it. So, yeah, kind of long story short right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, of course, you know that you went to Utah State. How'd that come about, the scholarship? Did he come visit you, or?
So I had that is another crazy story, is because before I even played, I went to a camp here at Utah State when I was a sophomore. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I never played football. So I was always a kid that would like try hard, but I never really was, you know, the fastest or the strongest or anything. I would just try hard. But I guess the coaches here at Utah State, they saw like my size and they just offered me right on the spot. They like pulled me into the coach's office and they're like, oh yeah, you have an offer. And then I was like, cool. I didn't know what that meant really, because back in the day it was different. Like you don't really know what it's not. There's nothing like today. So I was just like,
what's the difference?
Well, man, honestly, because when I was playing, I didn't know how recruiting worked. I didn't know what offers meant or committing. There was no highlight films, and I know this was only like 10 years ago, but there was no Twitter. Right. There's no huddle. There's no social media. Yeah. So like, I just thought you just go out there and play. Yeah. And maybe if I don't know how you got recruited. So yeah, I remember the coach pulled me in the office and then just basically offered me, and I just said, cool, thanks. In my head, I was just a baseball player though, and in my head I was like, I'm going to play college baseball. Yeah. Football is just something I was just doing because people in my school was like, you're big, you got to play football. Mm-hmm. So that was my sophomore year. Well, fast forward all the way to my senior year, they got new coaches at Utah State, and that was Coach Anderson, and he knew my dad, and he played at the U, so he kind of knew of me.
Gary, right?
Gary Anderson. Gary. And then he just called me, and they basically was like, we know that you have an offer, but we're starting from scratch. Nobody has offers. We're going to recruit all over again, and we'll be in touch. Well, I remember they came to my basketball games, and they would watch me play, and so they ended up just offering me again, resending the offer, kind of talked me into, playing football, which I never thought I was going to play college football. I just thought I was going to play college baseball. Yeah. And then that's kind of how that ended up. And then I came here, Utah State, play football. So were you dunking on people?
Nah,
no, honestly, no.
A little Shaq Baby over here.
It's funny because I wasn't really good at basketball either.
Yeah, I was just out there. A football scholarship through basketball.
No, I honestly,
football wasn't even fun.
No, I think back then it was just like, oh, that guy is like 6'4". Okay. And he plays baseball, he plays basketball, he plays football. I guess I was halfway decent at all of them. I was never like a star at any of them, but I was just, I was doing my thing.
Well, that's why I believe playing multiple sports as an athlete. If you play multiple sports, I think it moves you up. It moves your level of the game, whatever game that you're playing, and it's a potential for you to get recruited and looked at. I mean, shoot, these guys came and watched them. I don't know if it was buckets, but finger rolls or something. You know what I mean? Up in the paint, but
I'll tell you a funny story though. So, I remember Coach Anderson. He called me and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come to your game tonight." At the time, we were number one in the state. Well, our basketball team, we were ranked number one in the state. We were undefeated.
Under Coach Briggs.
This was Coach Briggs, yeah. And this is and our team in high school was the same group of guys that we grew up with because we were from the same area. So like when we was growing up, when I was playing ball, those are the same kids that I played high school ball with. We kind of grew up from when we was like 9, 10 all the way to high school. That's why we were so good.
We're sure don't get that no more because everybody splits off. But anyway,
Everybody wants to go like Bingham and everywhere else. But so I remember Coach Adams said, hey, we're going to come to your basketball game tonight. And I was like, cool. Well, my dad at the time, my dad had a lot of health problems, so he wasn't really getting out too much to come to my games. But because the coaches were there, he's like, hey, I'm gonna come watch you play. So I was really nervous because whenever my dad watching me play sports, it got me nervous. But I was excited. So we're playing at Jordan High School. Mm-hmm. Now we were the #1 team in the nation. I mean, in the state. Yeah. And Jordan, they were doing like, let's beat the #1 team. Let's do a whiteout. And so their whole gym was packed. And everybody was in a white shirt.
Beat diggers.
Yeah, their students were going crazy. So I remember my dad was in his wheelchair. So he was like on court level. Mm-hmm. And then Coach A was sitting on the front row right next to them. Mm-hmm. And so I went out there and I just played hard, man. And it was a really close game. And it came down to, it was the craziest thing happened. It was like we were down by 2 points, mm-hmm. and there was literally maybe 1 second left, and they were shooting free throws. So really, the game was over. Yeah. Well, so one of their guys, they shot the free throw and he missed, and I went up to grab the rebound, and while I was grabbing the rebound, one of their guys came over my back and hacked me and fouled me. Okay. And so now it's literally less than 1 second. It was the craziest thing. Like, their coaches were going crazy. So it put me on the foul line because it was double bonus. Yeah. And I remember, it's like my dad and Coach A were sitting right there. And I'm over here shooting this free throw. And I had to make both of them. And so I go over there and I was like, I got this. Brick. And I just remember my dad just left. He just left. And so we ended up losing the game. And I felt like it was my fault. And so that was our first loss of the season. Coach A was sitting right there. And I felt like I let my team down. But I always remember, whenever I talk to Coach A, we always talk about that. And he's like, yeah, DJ's shot is broke. So, but nah, man, like you said, man, playing multiple sports. Yeah. When I recruit, I look for kids. Everybody that recruits. Yeah. They're like, oh, what other sports does he play? Oh, he plays baseball? He's probably got really good hand-eye coordination. Yeah. Oh, he plays basketball? He's probably pretty athletic, fluid, can move. For me, playing basketball, got my feet right. Yeah. Playing baseball, got my hand-eye coordination right. So when I played football, playing tight end was natural. Yeah. So like you said, man. Yeah. Playing multiple sports.
Yeah. Playing for me, it shows what kind of person or what kind of player you are, and it's important for me that you are coachable. Oh, yeah. And so if you're able to play those multiple sports, you're listening to different coaches, mm-hmm. And you're just learning a different game. That just means, and then if you pick it up and you're good at it, it just means you're coachable. You don't care about being the best player. You just want to go out there and do what's best for the team. Right. At the same time, you're making yourself better, a better athlete. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, that's awesome. So after Utah State, where'd you go after that?
So after Utah State, I was, lucky enough to have a shot to play in the league. So I played for 4 teams. I started in Jacksonville, and then I spent most of my time with the Atlanta Falcons. But I also made a pit stop in Buffalo for a little bit, and then I ended in Chicago just for a brief end of the season on 2017. So ended up playing for 4 organizations, and had a great time. Yeah. Obviously didn't work out, but I was able to reach that level, and so I'm always thankful for the memories and opportunities that I had. Yeah. And it was a great experience. So,
man, just for you to, because we know multiple people that played in the NFL, and I always bring up, I don't always bring it up, and I know it's, for me, I know it's it's kind of disrespectful if I just, I was a NFL, man, what you guys do? What you guys do in the locker room, and what you guys do? People want to get into your personal business about the NFL. But for me, it's I like to talk about, you guys get to see the business aspect of it, and how they run, their business, their organizations, and they gotta, and I get it, if you're not if you're let go, it's because you didn't fit their organization or you didn't do well, but really, I think it just comes down. Sorry, man, I can't risk money. We're talking about, we're a business, we're a multi-billion-dollar business. You know, these guys make a lot of money. Did you see a lot of that?
Most definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. That it's just like any other business. You don't get there, being nice or doing things, the right way. There's things that go on behind the scenes, behind closed doors that people, normal people, normal fans, normal people that watch the games, they don't realize what happens. But that stuff does happen. I don't want to say it affects every single player in the league, but it sure does affect the lower end guys. So it does happen a lot, and it is what it is, man. It's like, you have to understand they're a business, man. They got to do what they got to do to make their money.
Yeah, I had a chance to. A lot of us boys my age, when we were in the youth, younger, in our teenage years, we got the chance to be around Edwin Mulitalo, and at the time, his brother was a youth leader in our church, and one of his lessons, he bring Edwin, and they just had won the Super Bowl.
With Ravens?
With the Ravens, yeah. And he came in, and our lesson was on the Judgment Day. And Edwin, when he spoke, he compared it, the Judgment Day was, he compared it to the combine. But not the combine that you see, like the 40-yard dash. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how the doctors just from head to toe. Yep. And they'll find every little thing that is wrong with your body. And then what they found with him was something with his Achilles that, you'll probably last only 3 to 4 years in the league.
Oh, they break it down like that?
Yeah.
Oh, so they'll tell you like the longevity of your body.
Yeah. And they were just comparing it to the lesson of Judgment Day, and I was just like, dang, dude, he was just breaking it down. But it was cool that Edwin Mulitalo came, and, we got to see his big old ring. Dude, that ring was like this big. I was like, dang. Yeah, because that's when he was playing with Siragusa. Yeah. And, of course, Ray Lewis was the linebacker at the time. Man, that was awesome. And let's just go into family, man. How's your family? And I know your dad has been a big influence, and so has your mom. But I kind of want to talk about your dad's legacy, what he has left for you guys, and I know you're trying to carry that on, trying to carry on the name as well. But there's one big thing that all the Paulies know about your pops was Big John's. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we're coming up on conference weekend, and that's when it always happened, was during conference weekend. And so, and if you could tell us just a little bit about that, how you came about that, and why Big John's was such a powerful movement, man, because it bring a lot of the art.
A lot of out-of-staters.
Yeah, and it bring a lot. You see, that week, you just saw a whole bunch of Polynesians. The whole community came together just to, witness this basketball tournament. If you could just elaborate and just tell us a little bit about that, how he started that.
So Big John, Manu Maleuna, when they grew up out in Cali, Big John, that's actually my dad's cousin. So Big John wanted to, obviously back in the day, get some of the kids out of the gangs or off the streets. So, he was big in that youth corrections type, doing what he can for the community to get the youth moving in a positive direction. Yeah. So that's kind of how Big John lived his life, and what his ultimate goal was. So after he passed, my dad, when he was in Utah, kind of tried to continue that legacy, and involving sports and whatnot, how Big John did. My dad kind of just did the Big John tournament. And I don't know what the original, whether it was to raise awareness or really to get the kids off the streets in Utah. I'm not sure how crazy it was or if it was crazy back in the day. But it really started with like 6 teams. And I think the original rule was, all the kids or all the players were Polynesian. You could have one non-Polynesian kid on the team or whatnot. But it started with 6 teams. I remember when I was a kid, and I think I'd have to go look, but maybe 2002 or 2003, I want to say there was like 50 or 60 teams. And so this all went down when we were kids. So when we were growing up, we would see, all the time and the work that my dad and my mom would put into, putting this tournament on. And like you said, man, when conference week hit, everybody knew it was going down, man.
Show out.
Oh, man. Yeah, man.
Is...
I remember, like, we would have teams from, obviously Cali, Vegas, anywhere from, like, Missouri. Back Laie, boy, like Hawaii, like, people would come from everywhere to play.
Our family had a team from Santa Ana.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember there would be teams from everywhere.
I remember being at that gym every year.
Yeah, man.
At West High.
At West High, man. And so, no, it was great. My dad continued to try to do that as long as he could. And I think he ended up running it for 18 straight years.
Long time.
Yeah, 18 years and never took a dime. And that's what's kind of crazy is people think, he was making money or doing things. And we still have all the records. And as I was, looking over some of the preparations, the organization, some of the books, he was pumping out so much, spending so much money. But then because so many people came at the door, they would charge $1 or $2 or what it was. And so they ended up. I
remember bringing cans.
It was like $2. But if you brought a canned food, it was $1 off or $2. I can't remember how it worked. So he was doing like a food drive, and it was all just to help the community, man. But at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament, he'd always end up. Sometimes he would end up in the red. Maybe he overspent $200, $300. But sometimes they were actually up maybe $500, $600, $700. And what he would do is he would just turn around and spend all that money either to buy more shirts for the kids, to buy bigger, better trophies for the kids, or to hand out, use that money and create a scholarship for a student athlete that was graduating and trying to go to college. He would just donate that money or create a scholarship for them. And so he really just did it. Some years they were losing some money. Some years when they did make it, they would just put it right back into all the kids. And so his main goal, his main focus, it wasn't ever to make a dime. But the crazy thing is they spent so much time, so much preparation and organization that goes into running that tournament. And to have the success that they had for 18 years, now that I'm older and I'm grown and I know exactly how things work, it amazes me that my dad, going through all those health problems, was able to do that. And honestly, he wasn't able to do that without my mom. So I know between both of them, they ran that Big John's tournament for 18 years. Is actually a really, really crazy, cool success.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then now, like I said, his legacy, you trying to push, and now you're starting to do the tournament, which you asked me to be a staff of, and I was happy to be the staff, and you was taking off, man. Like we was talking before, a lot of those guys around those teams, I play at the regular public gym, and they're good ball players, they're real competitive. So when I saw the list of teams, and there were a lot of teams, I said, man, this is going to be a good tournament. But obviously, COVID happened, and we had to stop that. But you still want to continue that, right? Yeah.
No doubt, man. We were planning on getting that tournament started back over. It's been a long time since our family was involved with the Big Johns, so we kind of just wanted to continue that legacy. Mm-hmm. So our family went ahead and created it was called Sweet D's, Polynesian basketball tournament, which Sweet D is in remembrance of our father who's passed. And man, we had so much interest. I mean, I had to look at the numbers, 38 or 40 teams that had signed up.
Already.
Oh yeah. We were ready to go.
Yeah.
We were ready to go. Had a bunch of kids teams. I mean, we actually had to start telling teams that we can't take anybody. Like we had 10 teams that were just on the waiting list because we just didn't have enough gym space or time. And so there was interest, man. And it was gonna go crazy
because the kids were free.
Yep.
That's
the
awesome.
high school and down were free.
Yep.
Well, the adults will have to pay. Well, it makes sense because that's what Big John's.
I mean, like you
was
said
about.
earlier, this isn't like a venture for making money. This
Right,
isn't for making profit. This is for something to like give back to the community.
Yeah.
That was really our number one goal, because we weren't gonna do the older groups, you know, the older than high school, the men's and women's. We were only just gonna do the youth and the high school, and everybody was gonna be free. But everybody was like, because growing up, everybody plays Big John. So now that we're all older, we're all, you know, in the 20s and 30s, we're all like, oh, when we were kids, we played. Can we play? Yeah. And so we kind of just talked, and we're like, we gotta, like, we have to let the women's and the men's come out and show us what's up. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, all the kids, they play all for free. They don't have to pay a dime. We would provide them, you know, jerseys, provide them, you know, shirts. But everybody was just gonna come play for free because that's what it's about, man. Yeah. It's about giving the kids, especially, man. Some of these kids, they don't have the resources to go travel and play in tournaments. Yeah, you know, some families don't have the funds to pay for leagues and tournaments and stuff like that. So why not just give a free tournament, man? Why we're not out to make money. We're not out. We want the kids to have a good time and just bring the Polynesian community together for a positive experience, man.
And I see a lot of those organized, not all of them, but there are some out there that's just like, wait, you running it? Man, you never played no basketball in your life. You get paid off all these people paying to come to your league, and yeah, man, that's just incredible that you're just trying to push that, you know, what your dad has started and your uncle. And I applaud you, man. That's cool, and that's something for, you know, us Polynesian community to, you know, look forward to, because that was something to look forward to. Like you were saying,
a lot of family from out of state would come every year. So it's something like, oh, okay, you expect these people to come kick it with you and have a good time.
Yeah. Exactly, and just in like you know, conference weekend. Yeah. So like all week you just be balling every night over at West. Yeah. And then your whole family, they're gonna come for conference anyways. Yeah. So why not just make a week at it? And that's kind of what my dad's philosophy was. So, man, I was bummed last year when we had to shut things down because of COVID. Yeah. Because the excitement, the hype was there. Everybody was practicing. We were like, yeah, we'll give you guys jerseys, but they were like, oh, we'll come with our own jerseys. Yeah. So, and I remember back in the day, you know, my dad would provide the teams with jerseys, and it would just kind of be basic, you know, red or basic white, blue, whatever. And I remember the 6 to 8 year olds walked in one day, and it was a team, LA Lakers. Oh man, they came out purple and yellow, swagged out, same shoes, everybody. They all came from LA. And so then after they started wearing their own uniforms, then other teams was like, okay, like, oh, let me go see what kind of uniforms we can make. So, and I thought that was gonna happen with Sweet D's, man. I was like, hey, we'll give you guys uniforms. They're like, nah, we got our own uniforms. Yeah. And so people were designing their uniforms, and even the men's and the women's league, man. There was going to be some ballers, like you said. You see them all the time over there at the gym hooping. So I know it was going to be competitive. I knew it was going to be fun. And especially right there, it was going to go down at West Jordan. I mean, that's our stomping ground. So I was excited. And so unfortunately, COVID, it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. But next year,
we'll pick it up.
Oh, yeah. Now that things are going to, you know, kind of open up and whatnot. Yeah. Next year, man, I'm excited.
We'll put you and some of the staff on the podcast. Yeah.
Oh man, that will be live, man. You know, we're down for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot, that being said, with your dad's legacy, tell us a little about your family, your mom, and, you know, your siblings. How many siblings you got, and how you've been an influence on them or how they've been an influence on you. Because I met your siblings and man, cool people.
Yeah.
And your mom is a beautiful woman. Man, she's adorable. Just means well and really loves the Polynesian community.
Yeah.
Really loves the Polynesian community. But she knows not to, put up with the bullshit that comes with it. Like, nah, he ain't gonna come at me. I've been married to a Samoan all my life. Like, he ain't gonna come at me like that. But tell us a little about your family, man.
So my dad, who's Samoan, he's from Oceanside, California. And then my mom, who's Caucasian, she's from Garden Grove, California. So they're both, California kids, born and raised.
715?
Yeah, man. So they didn't meet out there. They actually met here in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Just, I guess, met through mutual friends and whatnot. And they both have big families. Like, both my mom and my dad, 10 brothers and sisters, both of them. So and I don't know what they were talking about when they were younger, how many kids they were going to have or whatnot. Well, so I have an older sister, and then I'm second. And then I have a younger sister. Well, when my younger sister she was born with special needs. She has cerebral palsy. So my parents kind of decided, we need to give all of our love and attention to our daughter. So that was just the end of kids for them. So we, most people, you think of Polynesian families, you think of a lot of kids. Well, us is just 3. Yeah. Because we had to make sure we took care of our younger sister, which I'm not complaining. That's great. I am the only boy, so it's kind of growing up was rough, man. Oh boy, man, it was rough.
You watch this,
man. But it was rough, man. So that's who it is. But growing up, my dad, long history of health problems that developed. He played football at University of Utah. Yeah. And when he was training there, he was trying to show off. Him and some of the other boys were trying to show off in the weight room. And he ended up trying to, out squat. And they're having a squatting competition. Oh, I can squat 700. Okay, I can squat 750. What? And whatever. My dad's like, oh, I can squat 800. Oh, man. So he ended up.
How much did your dad weigh in college?
He was 285 or 290. He was thick, 6'3", but you see pictures of my dad back in the day. He was just jacked, thick, rock solid. His legs, huge, calves, thighs, so he was just a huge. He played guard. So yeah, I guess they were just trying to show off and trying to outdo one another. And he ended up something went wrong, and something happened to his back, and back in the day, the weight room was underground. So I remember because I went over there and I kind of worked out there one time, and he's like, that's where it all went down. He's like, and then I hurt my back and I had to walk up all those stairs. Oh. Well, ended up, he broke his back. Oh. Yeah, he broke his back. And so when I was like, wait, you walked up all those stairs with a broken back? I was like, and I knew my dad was tough, but so he ended up breaking his back, right? Now, later down, years later, he ended up had a lot of health issues that stemmed from breaking his back. He had a rare disease where it was a fusing of the spine, and so over time, his spine was fusing, deteriorating. And I don't want to get into the medical terms because I don't want to act like I'm smart enough. But yeah, so over time, it kind of took a toll on him. Now there was medicine that helped. So they gave him the medicine and it was helping. Well, he was taking it for years and years. And then they realized that medicine actually kills your kidneys. So now
helped his spine, but
killed your kidneys. Well, now he has kidney failure. Oh. Now he can't take the medicine to help his spine, or his back, and then it just grows and it just spreads. So he had a lot of health issues. And I remember they told me that right before I was born, the doctors actually didn't give him a chance to live much longer. They said, your time is coming to an end pretty soon. And so that's what they were told right before I was born. My dad lived another 20 years, which was crazy. And I don't know how, it's hard conversations that I haven't obviously the Lord has a lot to do with blessing our family, but he ended up, grinding it out for 20 years, but it wasn't easy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my man was in pain. And now that I'm older and I look back, he'd always be having me, fulfill his feed and doing all the chores, staying up late to help him with his legs and his feet and stuff. And then at the time, I'd always be like, oh man, why do I have to do this? But now I'm just like, well, my man was in pain. Yeah. He was in pain 24/7. And he really just wanted to see his kids grow up, and he wanted to see his kids succeed. So he kind of chose that this is the suffering that I have to do in order to be with my family. So, man, my dad, everybody, my dad's a tough guy, man. My dad's a tough guy. He taught us some great lessons, but that's the biggest lesson that I learned was my man, he suffered all that time, and it was only just for his kids, man. Yeah. It was for his kids and his family, so.
Love that, man.
So, yeah, man. He ended up, unfortunately, my last year here at Utah State, he ended up passing away. So now, my mom and my two sisters, they still live in Salt Lake. So they're really close. I get to see them all the time. Yeah. They're doing great, staying busy. And then you already know how it is. Yeah. Remember our loved ones, especially when it's your dad. You're always gonna remember you guys. You know how it is. Like, still, he never leaves you. He never leaves you. He's with you every day. So.
Oh yeah. Your pops passes away. You kind of have to take on that role. Yeah. Yeah. How's that been, and what kind of influence has your mom and your two sisters had on you? I mean, because I know that they probably have a lot to say about you, how big of a role you've been on them, how big of an impact you've had on their lives. But what's the impact that they had on your lives?
I mean,
or yours?
Man, my family, they're everything. I mean, the things that they've been through. I always, everybody has their own sob story. Mm-hmm. Everybody go through adversity.
Everyone has shit.
Yeah, and so like, and then you're like, oh man, I can't believe this happened to me, or then you start to feel sorry for yourself, and then I think about like my family, like, what about them? Yeah. I mean, they're going through the same thing, if not worse. Especially like my sister, man, she was there taking care of my dad. When I was in college playing football, my mom was working. My mom had worked our whole lives because my dad never could work. Right. So my mom, who most moms, like to be stay-at-home moms, my mom had to go to work every single day and work 10 hours. Then, obviously, my older sister, I'm over here at college football. Yeah. Well, now she has to take care of my dad. Oh, but don't worry. Don't forget, our younger sister has special needs too. Yeah. So my mom's at work. My dad is bedridden. Now my older sister has to take care of everybody. Yeah. And I'm over here playing college football, living the dream.
Shout out to Jules, man.
Yeah,
shout out to Jules.
Love you, appreciate you. So when I'm like, man, I can't believe this happened to me, or I start feeling sorry for myself, I'm like, what about my family? Imagine what they went through. Yeah. They're tougher than me, and so I obviously can do better, and I should do better to support them. And but going through tragedies like that, everybody's gonna get down, and everybody's gonna have hard times. But for them, they do a great job of covering up, because they make it seem like they're never struggling, but I know they are. So it's just best when you have a family that sticks with each other and supports each other, which that's who they are. So
I think that love that your dad had for you guys, you were just talking about, your dad had to do what he had to do to provide and protect his family. And not just the Big John's turn, how you guys are continuing that tournament and calling it Sweet D's. But your sister Jules runs a bakery, and then she puts on for children. Anyone's invited. Easter egg hunts, Halloween parties. Yeah. Those little things that those holidays that she'll go out and just have it a free event. And there's always. I go for the food. Because she's always got food there. And then her guava cake, you know what I mean?
Guava cake. I've had that one.
Yeah, it just to see, just to see that, your dad's legacy not just pass on to you, but to your sister as well. And my kids love going to her events, you know, and so that's awesome to see that. I mean, what you think about that? Just her doing her thing.
That's who she is, man, and that's who my dad had told her to be. You know, told her to do what she loves, and she loves baking, she loves cooking, and my dad loved having family functions. My dad loved taking care of the kids, taking care of family members. When even if you don't got it, you got to find a way to take care of the family members. So that's what, you know, Jules does. That's why she always does, you know, functions for the kids, especially on Easter, Halloween parties and all that. Because that's the stuff my dad would do, you know, and her doing her baking and kind of doing the stuff that she likes and she enjoys, and that's important. And that's, I know what our dad would want her to do. So, you know her. She's gonna be her and do whatever, even if she doesn't have it, or even if it's stressing her out, she's gonna do it because she's doing it for the kids and she's doing it for the family. So. Yeah,
she does a great job, man. And the guava cake, those sweet peas. That's Jules for the guava cake. Okay, man, it is fire. It's fire, man. You know, with all that, your pops, your moms, your two sisters, and you being a coach, what is it that, you know, with all that, all those values, all those influences, all those the things that motivates you to do, what do you try? You gather all that up, and then how do you implement that to your players? How do you try to use that to make your players the best player they can be, but not just the best football player? You want them, because I know for me as a coach, I want them to know that this is going to be life lessons for you. Because if you quit now, just think about it. When you grow up and you need to go a job, and you need to go to work, you can't just quit. You got a family, you got to provide, or you just got to provide for yourself. Like, you got to learn how to, you know, take on these life lessons and take on those challenges and go, you know, full throttle. And if you fall forward so you get back up. What is it that you want? How do you get your players to be the best players they can be? What is it that you want from them?
It's funny because that's a great question. Now that I'm thinking about it, I never really sit down with the player and have that conversation with them. Now that is my goal, but I guess I haven't used the avenue of just sitting down and explaining that to them. My kind of how I work is I be myself. I'm real. I have real conversations, but I let them see me. And what I mean by that is, when I was a player here, there were coaches that were here that have a great influence on me. And they never really talked to me or told me anything, but I just saw how they lived their lives. And I saw how they worked. So I saw the work ethic. I saw the family values where they were grinding day in and day out because they had 5 kids at home. And I saw how much it meant to them when they saw our success. So every time me as a player succeeded, I saw the happiness in my coach. And it showed me how much he cared for me. And that's kind of what I do with my players, is like, I'm always honest with them, but I celebrate them when I see success. Now, when things go wrong, I let them know. You know, I can raise my voice, I can get after it a little bit, I can challenge them. But in the end, I'm only doing that because I know that they can't succeed at whatever task I'm asking them to do. But I just let them see who I am. I let them see that I grind, that, you know, no job's too little for me. I'll do whatever it takes. So I hope that just my example is teaching them those lessons. And then when we do have those conversations, I do a well enough job of explaining how I feel. And I think as long as you're real, as long as you know, when you have a conversation, and as long as you are you're not BSing it, the kid feels it. The kids know exactly, like, when you're talking to them, the kids know if you're truthful or not.
I think anybody can tell.
No doubt.
Like, you can tell when someone's being authentic.
Yeah, authentic.
As they are.
Yep. That's what I try to do. And so, like, and I feel like I have built great relationships, especially with my players, because all I am is that word authentic, man. Yeah. And so that's really what's been working so far. And I really haven't. I really never even thought about what you were talking about because I've never went so deep into that. But I think that's kind of how I go about my coaching.
Yeah. No, we get deep in here.
I mean, everyone has a different coaching style or theories of how they want things to get done.
Well, and I'm young. I'm still a young coach. I don't have a lot of experience. So what I'm doing is just kind of what comes natural, I guess, right? Yeah. I'm just doing whatever was done to me. And then really that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I'm just doing what I experience and what I think a player would enjoy. I mean, a player is going to enjoy when a coach can sit down and talk to him about, you watched the Jazz last night?
Yeah,
cool, man, cool. Yeah. Hey, did you see, Donovan Mitchell? Do you see how hard he hustled for his teammates? Yeah. And he went and picked each other up. That's kind of, so I don't know. I feel like as long as you're authentic, man, that's the word of the day right there. That's what I love, man. Authentic. That's all you need to be as a coach.
Yeah, man, I love that, and I that's how I coach. I love to be real with my players, be genuine.
Yeah.
Just let them know how I feel of why you're not succeeding in that position. And for high school, because I'm still just high school level, there are kids that are not going to go. As a coach, that there are kids that are not going to play at the next level, but you're there to volunteer your time to teach these kids. And like I said, if you're not going to be the best player, just do what you got to do, because I know that this is going to help you in your life. And you're going to look back as like, oh, this is what my coach was telling me, just even though I'm not the best tackle or the best guard or whatnot, but I'm there every day. And I'm giving my efforts to the team to make the team better. And so when you go out there, start your life, like you take that, what you learned back, in high school or college or whatever it is, and you use that out there in the work field, whatever field it is that you're in. And so that's I think that's way important, to be real with your players. And so, man, I asked this to some of the other coaches that have been on the podcast. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Nah. Oh, more.
But what is it about coaching you hate?
Ooh, give me a second.
For me, I tell them the same thing. For me, is the time, especially for a high school coach, because
that is true.
You ain't getting paid the hours that you're putting in. But for some reason, I love it. Even though I hate that there's no time, I still love it. Just teaching these kids.
Yeah.
What is it that you?
If I had more time to think, I could give you a better answer. But right off the bat, and I don't know if this is just because we had a scrimmage today, or that we're in the middle of spring ball.
Talk your shit, man. Talk your shit, man.
I hate. Now, I love my team. I love Utah State.
Waggies.
I hate when players on the other side of the ball, defensive players, I hate when they're over there celebrating and talking mess to my guys like they did something. I'm like, oh, just wait. And so, but that's what I love about sports.
Defense started fast today.
No, they did.
Defense was like step up.
But that's why I had to step into the boys, and I was like, you see all that hooping and hollering? I was like, hey, it is what it is. Now go show them who we are.
Yeah.
And then we went out there, just scored another touchdown, celebrate.
Yeah.
And it's just competing.
Yeah.
So I love it because it's competing.
Yeah.
I hate those little smirks that I see on their faces, especially the coaches. Yeah. When let's say, tight ends and linebackers. Let's say a linebacker makes a good play, and then the coach is over there celebrating. Oh, I hate it, man. But they probably hate it because when my tight ends make a play, I'm over there celebrating and running on the field. Yeah. So they probably hate me too. So it is what it is.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, but I could probably go deeper. I would have to think about it, man. Yeah. Right now, being a young coach, I'm just enjoying every minute of it. So I can't say that I hate anything because I'm new. I'm learning what the process is. I'm learning what it takes to study. I'm learning what it takes to organize and plan and just get better at your craft. So right now, man, I bet if you ask me that question in like 2 or 3 years, I'll have some juice for you.
Yeah.
I'll have something for you.
Awesome. How's it being a father, man?
Oh, it's great, man.
Yeah.
It's great, especially because it's a son. I don't know what my reaction would be if it was a daughter first.
Hey, daughters are awesome.
I know. I would have. I obviously would have loved them either way, boy or girl. But just to have a son, I feel like it's fun, man, because he's almost big enough. But when he does get big enough to push him around, wrestle him and everything, and just hoop with them, play sports, throw the ball around. Obviously, I would love to do that with my daughter, but I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of turn, but it feels great just to have a son that I can just kind of kick it with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is now. Now he's still really young, but he's learning, he's developing fast.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get him into sports and kind of just push him around.
Yeah, your son and my baby girl are the same
Pretty close
age. Yeah.
So is your kid walking yet?
Yeah.
Baby's walking.
Yeah. So
March?
January.
Or January, yeah.
January.
You were like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because my baby came in February.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 13 months.
Yeah.
About 13 months old right now. But yeah, he's huge. He's walking. He's tearing things up.
Nice.
Screaming.
Yeah.
he's
awesome.
good though. He's been great, man. I love it.
What do you? What sports you want him to play?
Golf and baseball.
My boys in baseball right now.
Golf and baseball, man. Those now it's a little different because they're harder to compete at. But if it was a dream scenario, man, people can play baseball for a long time and have really successful careers to set their families and their future up. But golf, man, I mean, you can play golf till you're like 60.
I think my son loves baseball, right? Well, he likes baseball. I don't know if he loves it yet, but he likes baseball. And I think the only reason why he likes baseball is because, Daddy don't know anything about baseball, so I can't yell at the fool when he messes up because I don't even know when he's messing up. I think he's supposed to throw the ball that way. I don't know. That's awesome, man. So, yeah, I try to keep my boy. I want him to wrestle and play baseball.
Yeah.
I want him to wrestle and play baseball. I
think wrestling is good too, man.
And for me, I think wrestling. I wrestled since I was young, and it's just always been a big thing about me that I wanted my kids to wrestle.
Yeah.
My daughter, I put her in wrestling for 1 year in Little League, and she did not like it.
Yeah.
I'll just stick to basketball. Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I remember wrestling, man. I wrestled when, like I said, my parents put me into every sport, man. And I remember my first year wrestling, and I know my mom and them can tell you the story too. But I remember I was like big for my age, obviously, so I'd always wrestle the older kids.
Yeah.
But I was still kind of bigger than them.
Yeah.
And I remember just wrestling them, and then the kid would start crying. And so, like, naturally, I would start crying. And so my dad would be like, "What you crying for?" You know how it is, like, "What you crying for?" And I guess I was just reacting because I thought I hurt the other kids. And then, I don't know, I guess that experience kind of just turned me off from wrestling. Because that was when I was young, man. I don't know. I don't know how early do they wrestle? Like 7, 6?
Yeah.
So I remember like throwing kids around, and then they would like start crying. And so I would just start crying for no reason. I don't know why. And so the thing is, in like combat sports, I love combat sports, like wrestling or any type of like boxing or I don't know about karate, but I think those are good for an individual because it teaches you so much about yourself, man.
There's nothing better than being in the middle of the mat and the ref raising your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Because that win, you want, of course there are wrestlers that just don't know shit. I'm gonna kill you. When you actually compete against a good wrestler and you come out with that W, it feels good to be hit your hand raised. I was the newspapers my senior year. I was overweight and I was heavyweight. 275 was the max, and I was 320 after football. lost the weight. I basically just starved myself the whole 2 weeks of winter break. The time where you eat all the food, all the candy, the candy canes, and all the good stuff, the cookies. Nope. I just worked hard and lost the weight. I was 280 when I got back to school, but I was sick as shit. I was sick as shit, man. Just to cut weight. I finally dropped the weight, but every weigh-in, I was always running in the wrestling room just to cut weight. Or I was had like 3 or 4 sweater on just to get a sweat on. Yeah. Throughout the whole day, I would have to skip breakfast and lunch just to make weigh-ins. Newspaper had me not even placing in the state tournament. I ended up going to the state tournament. I went to the finals. I lost in the finals. I ended up taking second.
But just to be there.
Yeah, just to be there, man. Especially that semifinal match, I wrestled against the Freeman. I don't know his first name, but it was from Orem, and he took it his junior year. And so I was wrestling him, and I beat him to get into the finals. And it was just awesome to just get your hand raised and just, because all that glory is yours, you know. And so, well, shoot, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about, man?
Man, it's been fun.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
Yeah, dude.
Good first experience.
It's a good ride, man. We're up here at Utah State doing it.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I'm excited for the season, man. It's hopefully it goes back to a regular year. And we just have some good games, compete, play hard, and then I'm sure we'll surprise a lot of people. So
you guys look good. You guys look good. I was awesome to watch that today.
Utah State's got they got a chance to be. We've been like the last 10 years have been super successful at Utah State. Mm-hmm. It's just about continuing the success year in and year out, which I'm just happy to be a part of it because I feel like I can contribute. I'm not gonna say I'm the fix, but I feel like I can contribute.
You have a lot to offer.
Yeah, I can contribute in some positive ways, which I'm excited for, man.
Yeah.
So,
what is it? What is something before we go? What is something that you do outside of football that no one knows that you do? Like a hobby or something. Do you game? Are you a gamer?
No, I'm not a gamer, man. I'm not a gamer. I'm not gonna lie.
Because there's a lot of coaches I know that are gamers. Like, dude, I've never thought that you would just play video games.
No, I don't game at all, man. I can't even remember the last time I had a controller in my hand. I love music for some weird reason because I'm not musically talented.
What genre?
Anything. I listen to anything and everything. Well, I'm not into the rock. I'm slowly getting into country. But what I really like, man, I could be on YouTube all day. Because I watch like The Voice or like America's Got Talent. Yeah. And I'll just watch videos of people singing and whatnot. I'm cool with like, I've been to like musicals where not even knowing that I was going to a musical, kind of just randomly walking out like, that was hella cool. Watching Pitch Perfect, like, hey, like I can. And so I don't know. I just like music, and I wish there was like a place where you can buy talent, because I would go buy vocals, man. Because I wish I could sing so bad.
Big ass dude sitting up there. Get your ass down, man. Put that microphone down.
So what's your first voice lessons?
Man, it'll be the first and last. Because they'll be like, "There's no chance with this guy. Just hang it up already. Auto tune or whatever."
You're saying, man, you might come out with a country music song.
No, man, no.
You got the baritone going. You know.
Coming to the stage, Mr. Aggie.
That's why I just be quiet, man. I just like listening to music, man, and that's about it.
That's awesome. You work out?
Best food joint out here in Logan, Utah County, or Cache County.
Yeah. Angie's, man.
Angie's
or Herm's. They're both like
steakhouses?
No, they're like breakfast places.
Okay.
But they're like authentic, like not authentic, but they're just
like mom and pop breakfast.
Yeah,
shop?
yeah. And it's
how are they pancakes?
Herms, man. You got to go to Herms.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Herms one day. Yeah, Herms is off the hook.
Oh, we'll definitely come back though.
I mean, because if you're not working out, you're having food.
I'm always. It's guaranteed. I'm always.
Hey, so the 4 cities you mentioned before, food spots are like best style of food in those areas.
Well, that's funny. So because of when I was playing, I had a little bit of money, so I was going to like steakhouses, and so anywhere that had like steak, I would always go. And then they'd be like, "What do you want to order?" And I was like, "What's the best steak?" So I was just trying whatever steak. It don't matter. So like I ended up getting like
what's your favorite cut?
Like the porterhouse, because I guess you get the both.
Yeah.
And so like I would just Google like steakhouses.
Medium rare.
Medium. No.
You letting it bleed?
Medium, straight medium,
Straight
medium.
That's too much trouble.
Medium. Yeah, I'm not all like because it can't be like all not bloody or all.
Yeah. You don't like it like that?
I can't do that.
I can't do that. Man. That's good.
I can't do that. No, but I like steak, man. Anywhere steak. Oh. Yeah. There's not too many steak options out here. Just like Texas Roadhouse.
Herms does a steak too, or they
no, because they're only breakfast. Okay. Yeah, they're only breakfast. So you got to go in the morning. But they had this pancake where if you eat the whole thing, like everybody's food is free.
What? Where is that?
Herms.
Oh.
So I went over there.
Pancake
so me and the boys went over there, and they're like, yeah, like if you finish the pancake, we'll give you guys all your food for free. And I was like, what you talking about? Come on, bring it on. When I say they brought that thing out, it was pretty. It was like a pizza, like a
a 14-inch.
Oh, but the thing was so thick where when you took like 2 or 3 bites, you felt like dang you ate
cake.
4 or 5 And so I didn't even get close. I thought I was gonna get it. Like when we were talking about it, they're like, yeah, every food's free.
Everybody, so whoever
it was like me and like 3 of the boys, and we're like, crazy, bring it. I was like, I can finish that easy. No chance. But their food, I would say Herms. That's my favorite out here. Because I'm a big breakfast guy too, so Herms is perfect. So we'll go next time you guys are out.
We definitely will, man. What's your favorite Samoan food?
Malusami.
Oh,
Malusami, sapsui. Gonna make some sapsui here tonight.
Oh, all right. I saw the Lili.
Gang of Lili.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Jules, we need your call.
For real. Yeah, we'll get it going next time you guys come out here. Get some food up. She'll bring some for desserts, guava cake, cookies. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, we need to do that up, man. Well, how can you have social media? Anybody? How can they find you? Or
Twitter and Instagram both. And just DJ Tialavea. I don't really know what my name is. I think it's just straight DJ Tialavea. So,
do you have any video drills that people can look at?
Not on my social media, but I tweet out some other people's drills. I'll retweet or something, but not of mine myself. But if anybody's interested in that, I'm a DM away. I'll exchange numbers with you and we'll link up or whatever and answer any questions. That's one thing I do like is I do like talking to other coaches, answering questions from other coaches, because I was once that guy who wanted to know what it was like at the other level. Yeah. So I would always hit up my boys that were coaches and be like, "How does this work?" Yeah. And you know how it was like that year we were over there. I was like hitting up my boys, like asking them, how to do certain things. So if anybody is watching this that has questions or want to get together, man, I'm totally down. You can share my info or whatever.
Sure, I'm grateful. This is the second time I came up here since you've been up here, and for me to, be a coach myself, come up here and just kind of watch how you guys are, and kind of take some moves from one of the coaches. I was kind of listening. I was like, oh, okay, that's what he's talking about. All right, but I'm grateful, and I want to just thank you, for letting me be a part of your life and, be able to just make ourselves better, as coaches and as just human beings. Yeah. So, I think that's it. You good, man? Shoot. Ready to eat?
get the barbecue
About to
fired
go
up.
to Dang, all right.
Yeah.
You doing some barbecue tonight?
Yeah, man. Try to do some barbecue and
Okay.
get some food on the grill and have some of the boys come over. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, DJ,
course,
for
man.
letting us, steal your time and
Anytime.
come up here and just talk some shiz. But
Anytime. I'm sure everybody who's watching this is wondering what happened to my face that I'm trying to hide.
He's got his head in the game. Maybe too far in the game.
Always keep your hands up, okay? Never drop down.
Yeah, so what's going on, man?
Man, me and one of my players, we headbutted yesterday, so kind of messed up my nose, got some stitches and some black eyes. Hopefully my nose is not broken, but
You're wearing a face mask too?
I forgot I don't wear helmets, man. I'm not a player. What was I doing over there headbutting people? Oh man, so no, I was just wanted to point that out there because everybody's probably watching this like, what is wrong with his face? Never headbutt somebody when they're wearing a helmet.
Protect yourselves at all times.
Hey, Coach DJ Tialavea with us today. Thank you again for tuning in. If you're new here, this is the brand new podcast. Best of luck and all the love and support for your future endeavors.
Appreciate it.
Future head coach.
Yes, sir.
All right,
yes,
okay,
sir.
man.
Appreciate
Keep
it.
at it.
Hey,
Keep
follow
it up.
us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, love y'all. Thank you again, man.
Go Aggies.
Nice, dude. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, bro.
That was fun, man. That was some good stuff.